My first question is on page 5. And then I think it's in the second paragraph, but it says something about humans destroying other species on the planet, like animals like vanished bison and the extinct dodo. And then on the last sentence in the paragraph, it says, "Are we such apostles of mercy as to complain if the Martians wore the same spirit? Like, would we complain if the Martians like wanted to do the same thing to us as we did other animals?" And my question is, like, why do you think that he says that? Like, why do you think that he believes that the Martians would want to kill off humans?
Yeah, I think he's kind of like, we kind of do the same thing. Like, humans have done the same thing, like just completely like wiping out certain species. And I think he's kind of like asking like if we do it, then why would we get mad if someone else did it to us?
Yeah, like kind of like it would be hypocritical of us to get mad at Martians if we did the same things up on our own planet.
Yeah, it was surprisingly deep for like a sci-fi book about people attacking us from outer space.
Yeah. Okay, and then second question. When he first finds the little Dewey thing, how did the narrator describe the alien?
Like, how did he describe the like thing that they came in?
Yeah.
It was like a cylinder, right?
Yeah. It was all dusty or something, I think. It could have been dust or dirt or something.
And then like how
it was like dark.
And then like the aliens themselves, I think that he described them with like V-shaped
mouths with like no
and like big eyes or something.
Yeah, V-shaped mouth was its pointed upper lip. And
right here.
Imagine a strange horror of its appearance.
It didn't have a chin.
Yeah. And then like, why do you think that there are other shows and like sci-fi books that describe aliens as like a pure, like holy kind of thing, but why do you think that he described them as like a horror, like a strange horror?
She's really tripping over here. Okay, I think they described the Martians. I'm so distracted. They described the Martians that way because he's kind of like giving them like a bad connotation. Like they killed like 40 people. So like in this book, they're bad. Like they're the bad people, and I think that also could kind of be like. He's kind of like trying to convey the message of like how we like just take over like the earth and like kill animals and take away their habitats and stuff. He's kind of like paralleling that to the aliens. It's like the aliens are kind of like the humans, and they're like ugly in nature and disgusting tentacles.
Okay, and then page 29. So the narrator describes people as a flock of sheep, like she did in other shorter stories. They described them as a flock of sheep, and then how does that reflect how the people are feeling / reacting to the situation?
I think they're all just like following each other, so they don't really know how to react.
And he says like as blindly as a flock of sheep, like they just, the people in this situation, they don't have like, they're just stupid.
Okay, and then on the same page, on the same paragraph, it says, the crowd, or the flock of sheep, rushes to escape the aliens, but crushes 2 women and a little boy. And why do you think that he chose the age and gender, like, of the people? Like, why do you think that the author chose that 2 women and a little boy to get crushed by the crowd?
Because like typically people people were probably like, you know, like women and children first or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I think that people are just so distraught and scared that they're thinking of themselves.
Yeah.
Like they don't really like put others in front of them. Like it's such a terrifying situation that they'll crush 2 women and a little boy to like be safe.
Yeah, 2 people that you typically would save first.
Yeah. Okay. And then I'm gonna make this my last question. On chapter 9, like the first page of chapter 9. That's chapter 9. Okay. The narrator's neighbor comments on how the Martians make themselves unapproachable and how he wishes that they could be more approachable and learn from them. And then why do you think that the neighbor would want to learn from them if they've already made a bad reputation for themselves and are scary for like the rest of the people?
I think partly because it's like the only way that like people knew that what was happening was through the newspapers, which only came like once a day, so people didn't really know like what was going on. Partly, and also I think at that point they weren't like super like killing everybody yet. It was just like
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really have much to add.
Okay. And then that's it for the questions.
Okay. Well, I did some research. It kind of explains some of this even. So like he had like socialist political views. Like he was known for that. And then he also like he like wanted like a world state, and he like said that was inevitable. And so like he envisioned like a planned society that would have like really advanced science, and like nationalism would be like abolished, and people would like progress by merit rather than like their hereditary their birth, you know. But like I think that's kind of like the whole part of like with the world state that kind of like explains some of the book. Like it almost is showing that that's kind of like what he's trying to get at. Like he wants the aliens to like, he wants that to happen through the aliens. And so yeah. And then also I just thought this was kind of like relevant. It was like, this is one of the first books, like the earliest stories to depict like a story with man versus alien. So it was never really like done before, and not really people like really talked about that before this book came out. So yeah, that's research I did.
cool. I think I got like 4 passages. The first one's on page 15. It's like talking about how at about 11, as nothing seemed happening, I walked back full of such thought to my home in Maybury. And that's like during like when like the giant tube like crashed to Earth. I suppose like before the alien came out. It's like before that he's just like completely like didn't really care. Like he's like went back to his house in the middle of like an alien landing. Yeah. So that was interesting. Yeah. And then the next one I had was on 29, and it's when like they all ran away and like trampled people. And that was like after like they unleashed like the weapon the aliens did, and they killed a bunch of people. So then like they went from like super like chill to like freaked out and like trampling each other. And then the next one I had was, I think it was on 63, where he's talking to an old man, and he says, and he starts shouting. Yeah, he says, "Death is coming, death!" And then he's like freaking out even more. Like he's going like hysterical. And then the last one I had is on 74. Oh yeah, is when he met like a priest, like sitting on the road, and then the priest is talking and says like the smoke of her burning goeth up forever and ever. He shouted, and it says his arms flamed, and he pointed a lean finger in the direction of Weybridge. And then it says, by this time I was beginning to take his measure. The tremendous tragedy in which we had been involved, it was evident that he was a fugitive from Weybridge, had driven him to like the very verge of his reason. So it's like the stress of like the aliens is like slowly building up and like making everybody like freak out and go crazy.
Definitely. And I think there's like, it's kind of crazy how there's such a stark like yeah, this freaking cylinder falls from the sky, and it's like it moves first. Like he gets there and he sees it like unscrew a little bit, but then it didn't, like nothing else happened. And he's like, oh no, it's all chill. Like I won't go and like, I don't know, maybe like call the police or something. And like he just chills out, goes home, like he said, and then all of a sudden like these huge crowds of like children are like playing on this like weird cylinder, and then the aliens come up.